Okay,
All right.
we'll go ahead and jump in for today. Thanks for joining us for another one of our SAT and college prep workshops provided by the Field Teen Center from the Free Library of Philadelphia. Today we have Aisha Alexander of the Alexander Advantage, who's going to be walking us through all the steps that you need to apply for financial aid for college so that we don't leave any free college money on the table. So without
Absolutely.
further ado, Aisha, I'm going to let you take it away.
All right. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Chris. And thank you so much for joining us today. You are taking one of the first steps to unlocking money to get into college. So thank you for being here. Today, we're going to talk about a few things. We are going to talk about FEAA and FAFSA in particular. There is one other application for you to fill out that I will mention, but today our highlight is going to be on FAFSA and FEAA. So before I jump into that, let's have a discussion. Have you ever missed an important opportunity or deadline? Have you ever missed an important opportunity or deadline? I know I have. I have. I missed an important opportunity and deadline when I was in getting ready to go to college. And I went to take the SAT for the second time, and I missed the deadline to register for the SAT. And so when I went back to register for the SAT for the second time, I had to pay an additional fee. So instead of paying the one-time fee, let's say at that time it might have been like $40, I had to pay an extra $10 in order to take the same SAT just because I missed a deadline. So already I'm giving up free money that I did not anticipate at all. So let's just have an open discussion. Has there been an opportunity or a deadline that you've missed? Chris, you want to jump in something that you've missed, an opportunity or a deadline, and how did that make you feel?
I know there's been like so many of them. I feel like things that are coming to mind are definitely like work deadlines, like when you're juggling a lot of different tasks and you just drop the ball on something. I know a lot of the youth that we work with at the Field Teen Center, right? Like thinking about the high school experience, you have to worry about school, you have to worry about your friends, you have to worry about your family, all the things that you do after school, your sports, your activities, like
Yeah.
that is so much to be juggling. And then you're a senior, you're trying to like, I don't know, there's just a lot to keep in mind. So of course you're going to drop the ball on something and it's okay.
That is okay. That is okay. So, one of the reasons why I wanted to bring up this important question is because with financial aid, it is so important. And you're going to hear me say this over and over again, that you do not miss the opportunity and that you do not miss important deadlines. Okay. We do not want you to leave any free money on the table. All right. So, like I said, don't miss out on important deadlines. And guess what? The process is easier than you think. I've worked with quite a few students that may have some anxiety around financial aid because they don't know where to start. They have questions. But the great thing about the federal government and the state, they've really streamlined the process on for you to get free money to go to college. And we're going to talk about some of the things that they've done to make it easy for you to apply for that money. All right, so let's talk about what is financial aid. So financial aid, it helps students and families pay for college. And this financial assistance covers educational expenses, and that includes your tuition, your fees, your room and board, your books and supplies, and your transportation. Now, there are several types of financial aid that you should keep in mind. There are grants, which we love, scholarships, which we love, work study, which we love, and loans. I'm going to stop there. Why do you think I put these type of financial aids in this order? We have grants, scholarships, work study, loans. Why do you think I listed the financial aid in that order?
Aisha, if I could chime in, I think it might be because those are the order you want to go for these things, right? You want to get your grants and your scholarships first before you start taking out loans or having to work for the money.
Absolutely. You want to maximize all the free money that is on the table, which is the grants, the scholarships, and work study. And then if you have to take out loans in order to finance your college education, then absolutely. And we'll talk about the different types of loans. Some loans are better than others for you to take out. So we'll talk about that as well. Thank you, Chris. All right. So let's talk about breakdown the different types of financial aid that are available and a little bit about them. So of course, grants you do not need to pay back at all. Grants you do not need to pay back at all, and they are need-based without repayment. So when you fill out that FAFSA today, like we talked about, you're going to be unlocking some grant money. When you fill out PHEAA, which we'll talk about today, you're going to be unlocking grant money that you do not have to pay. Also, there are scholarships that are available that are based off of merit or performance, and you do not have to pay that as well. Okay. There are universities and colleges that look at you as a student, your GPA, your SAT scores, and they award you scholarship money in order to go to their college. There's also outside scholarship money, which we'll talk about in a totally different workshop, but there's outside scholarship money for you to finance your college experience. We also have work to study. That means that you will be working in the field that you are interested in. It could be on campus, and it can also be off campus. And you will be earning a paycheck from the federal government for you to work and study a career of your interest. Okay, so when you complete the FAFSA and the PHEAA, you will be unlocking work study money as well. And then also we have our federal loans. So federal loans come from the federal government, and they are fixed low interest rate loans that must be repaid. So unlike grants, scholarships, or work study, your federal loans have to be paid. Okay, but as you see, it is a low interest rate on those loans. Okay. All right, let's move on. So like I said, we are going to be focusing on the FAFSA and the PHEAA, and we're going to break down what each application is and how you can apply for those as soon as possible. All right, so the FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. I will repeat, the free application for federal student aid. So what does that mean? That means that you do not have to pay to fill out this application. I always start off with that because unfortunately, there are some websites out here, of course, that we know spam is very high and very prevalent right now in our society. So if you click a link that says, hey, fill out your FAFSA form, and then you have to pay a fee to fill it out, you know you are not in the right spot. So we're going to guide you to the right spot and also walk you through what you need to do to complete that form as accurately as possible. All right. So once again, the FAFSA is a free application for federal student aid. It is the gateway to give you all types of financial aid as well as many scholarships. This is super important, and you'll see this during my presentation several times. The opening deadline for FAFSA is October the 1st of each year, October the 1st, and it's available for seniors to fill out. And every single year you have to fill out this application. So it's not a one-time thing. You fill it out your senior year before you go into your undergraduate experience. And while you are in college, you fill this form out every single year. And like I said, it opens on October the 1st. So you want to make sure that you are jumping in and filling that out as soon as it opens. So that way you can get as much money as possible. Where do I go for this? You can go to FAFSA.gov. to fill out that form. That is the appropriate website, FAFSA.gov. So we're going to just look at a quick video that talks to you about what the federal financial aid application is and how you can start to fill it out.
If you're interested in financial aid for college or career school, you're going to need to fill out the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA. It takes most people about 30 minutes to complete online, and the best part, it's 100% free, and it provides you with access to grants, loans, and work-study funds from the federal government. And many colleges and states use FAFSA information to provide their own college or state financial aid. Before you fill out the FAFSA, it's a good idea to create your FSA ID, a username and password that lets you electronically sign your FAFSA and gives you access to various websites related to federal student aid. And here's an important tip. If your parent is providing information on your FAFSA, he or she will need his or her own FSA ID. Visit studentaid.gov/FSA ID for more information. Your FAFSA can be completed online at FAFSA.gov, and help is provided throughout the online application process. You will need to fill out the FAFSA each year you are in school because your financial situation may change. Plus, you may be able to automatically transfer your tax data from the IRS, making the application even quicker to fill out. Each state and college or career school sets its own deadline for the FAFSA, so it's best to get it done early. Since some of the funds are available on a first-come, first-served basis, you don't want to miss out. Now that you know about the FAFSA, you might be asking, well, how much money will I get? Your college or career school will do the math, and there's a simple formula that they use. First, the college takes your cost of attendance, which is the total amount it will cost you to go to that school. Your cost of attendance will vary from school to school. Then, the college subtracts your expected family contribution, or EFC. Your EFC is based on information provided in your FAFSA and will not change based on the school you attend. However, the EFC is not necessarily the amount of money you will have to pay. Basically, your cost of attendance minus your EFC equals your financial need. Your college uses your financial need and other information to determine how much financial aid you can receive. See? Pretty simple. If you have questions or need more information, please visit studentaid.gov.
All right. So we are going to break down that entire video today. That was a summary of how you fill out FAFSA, but we are literally going to break down, oops, that's not what I wanted to do, slideshow. Break down each step that you need to take to successfully complete the FAFSA. All right. So, as the video discussed, why should I complete the free application for federal student aid? Why is this important? FAFSA will determine how much your family can afford to contribute to your education, your post-secondary education. This includes if you're going to a four-year college, if you are going to community college, and even if you want to decide to go to trade school or a technical school, you still should complete the FAFSA. Okay. It provides all the information that is necessary for the college to determine how much money you have to pay in order to go to that particular college. They will determine your financial need, and they will also determine what grants, loans, and scholarships they will give you to go to that college and university. So, as we talked about before, you completing the FAFSA, it unlocks so much. It unlocks your federal student aid, which we talked about before. Oops. Which are your loans, your subsidized and unsubsidized loans, which we'll talk about soon. All right. It also unlocks state aid, meaning if you decide that you want to go to a college or a university in the state that you live in, the FAFSA will unlock money for that as well. Okay. As well as FAFSA, which we'll talk about a little later on. Also, it unlocks some institutional aid and scholarships, meaning that the college and university that you want to go to may have scholarships and grant money that is available to you as a college student. So when they look at that financial application, they'll say, hey, let's give her a $4,000 scholarship. Let's give Lisa a $4,000 scholarship because she needs it. Her family needs it. They don't necessarily have the money to pay for college, or hey, she has a great GPA, or she had a great SAT score. All right. So it will unlock some institutional aid and scholarships. And also it unlocks some private scholarships as well. All right. So let's dive further into unlocking money. So the federal government provides funds under a law called Title IV. Okay. So Title IV is going to unlock two different types of money once you fill out the FAFSA. So grant money, the most common grant money is called a Pell Grant. The maximum amount for this year for the Pell Grant is $6,895. And it is subject to change every year according to how much money the federal government has. So for you filling out the free application for federal student aid, guess what? You are already unlocking a Pell Grant up to $6,895. Okay. We're not leaving any money on the table this year. It also unlocks work study. So we talked about that a little bit earlier. So work study is when you earn a paycheck as you work. You can work on campus and you can also work off campus. There's also opportunities available off campus for work study. That means that the federal government will give you a certain amount of money for the year for you to work and learn about the major that you're interested in the career that you're interested in, right? So just by you filling that out, the FAFSA, you are unlocking Title IV money in grants and work study. You are also unlocking federal student loans. Federal student loans. So federal student loans, like we talked about, you do have to pay that money back. And the interest rate is low on those loans, okay? The first academic year max for this year is $5,500 for dependent students. What is a dependent student? So I have important terms, as you can see down at the bottom. A dependent student is someone who depends on their guardian for financial assistance. So if you are living with your mom or dad, if you're living with your grandparents, or even if you are adopted and you're living with an adopted parent, if you have someone that claims you on their taxes, right, and you receive financial support from that person, you are considered a dependent student. So a dependent student can get up to $5,500 this year for federal loan money. Also, if you're an independent student, which means that you live on your own, that you file your own taxes, that you do not have a guardian that is taking care of you, you can get up to $9,500 as an independent student to go to college from federal student loans. Okay. No more than $3,500 can be subsidized for independent students. So what does that mean? We're going to talk about subsidized and unsubsidized. Okay. All right. I want you to remember this because this is definitely one of the most important terms for loans. Loans. You have subsidized loans and you have unsubsidized loans. So a subsidized loan means that the interest does not occur on your loan as long as you are enrolled at least half time in college. Okay, that means that once you graduate and you are finished college, that is when the interest will hit on that loan. When you have to repay it back, that's when the interest will start to hit on that loan. Okay. An unsubsidized loan is just the opposite. That means even while you are in college, the interest is occurring on that loan. while you are in college. Okay. So that means that an unsubsidized loan is going to be more money in the long run than a subsidized loan. Okay. And I'm bringing this up for a reason, because I understand that even though we're striving for that grant money, right? Even though we're striving for that scholarship money, right? That you may have to take out a loan to go to college. If you take out a loan, it is best for you to take out a subsidized loan, because that interest will not occur on that loan as long as you are enrolled in college at least half time. So you are already saving money for taking out that particular loan. All right, so let's talk about who's eligible to fill out FAFSA. You must be a U.S. citizen or a documented legal resident. You must be in high school, be a high school graduate. So that means that you are a senior in college. Or if you decided to get your GED, you can also fill out the FAFSA. If you are a male, and this is just for men only, if you are 18 through 25, you must be registered with the Selective Services. So what is the Selective Services? Selective Services is a online application, very quick, that you fill out just in case we go to war again, which as you see, is not going to happen anytime soon. But unfortunately, the federal government says we are giving you this money. So as a male, we want to just capture your information just in case we have to utilize you in a war situation for the United States. Okay. Also, you have to be enrolled in an eligible post-secondary program. So that means that the college or university that you decide that you want to go to has to be accredited. Let's talk about these steps. Okay. So step one, we talked about from the beginning, and that's why I proposed the question to you. You do not want to miss the deadline. You can begin filling out the FAFSA as soon as October the 1st. Okay. The easiest way for you to fill this out is for you and your parents to make sure that you have your tax return information and that you're also filling out other prevalent information, which we'll talk about. Each state has its own deadline for filing. Okay. But all across the board, the opening deadline for FAFSA is October the 1st. So the sooner you fill out the application, the sooner your parents fill out the application with you, the more money that you are liable to get to go to that college and university. You do not want to miss your chance and wait around until March or April of the following year, right, to start to fill this application out. And by that time, a lot of the money would have had been distributed to students already. So make sure you try to file it as close to October the 1st as possible. All right. You can also find a list of state deadlines if you go to FAFSA.gov. FAFSA.gov is going to be your friend. All right. That is where you fill out the application. And it's also where you can find out more information if you have additional questions. Speaking of, does anybody have any questions for me before we move on? I know you're soaking in all this free money knowledge, so just want to make sure. All right, let's dive in. Step 2, create a FAFSA ID to begin your FAFSA. All right, so what is a FAFSA ID? FSA ID. FSA ID is your username and your password that is going to do a lot for you. It is going to help you sign into your FAFSA. It's also going to be an important tool. So when you go to put in your tax information into your application, you're going to use that FSA ID to do so. And also when you complete your FAFSA, you are digitally going to sign that document saying that everything that's on my document is accurate to my knowledge. So you're going to be digitally signing that application with your FSA ID. as you can see, there are two columns. There's an FSA ID for students, and there's an FSA ID for parents. So both yourself as the student and as the guardian have to have two separate FSA IDs. Okay? That is required. So, for example, at the end of your application, when the student goes to sign, when you go to sign your application, you're going to use your FSA ID. When your parent goes to sign that application as well, they're going to use their FSA ID. And they're also going to use that FSA ID in order to upload their tax information into the document as well. All right, so to continue with step 2, you're going to log in and you're going to complete your FAFSA. So in order for you to start, you're going to sign in with your FSA ID as the student, as you can see right here, okay? You're going to start, if you are a senior, you're going to start for 2023, 2024 year, if you are graduating, if you're a senior graduating next year. If you are currently a junior, all right, then you would start with 2024, 2025. So you want to start with the current year that you are in to complete your FAFSA. All right, we talked about the fact that parents can sign into your FAFSA as well. Either way, when you go to sign into this FAFSA, it will record the application just for one student. So that's very important. If you have a brother or a sister, or let's say you're a twin, right, and you guys are both seniors in high school, you're going to have to complete 2 separate FAFSA applications. There is one application per student. One application per student. So you can either sign in with your FAFSA ID, FSA ID, or you can sign in with your parents' FSA ID. But it's always important for you to start with the year that you are currently in for your application. And once again, you're going to go to FAFSA.gov in order to start your application. The next thing that they're going to do is they're going to ask you information in 5 different sections, okay? And you want to make sure that you complete these sections as accurately as possible. They're going to ask you for your student demographics. So what does that mean? That means they're going to ask you for your name, your birth date. They're also going to ask you for your social security number. So you want to make sure, of course, that the social security number that you are adding onto your application is what matches your social security card, okay? They're also going to ask you, what college or university do you want to go to? So you can select up to 10 schools that you are considering, even if you have not received your application or acceptance letter yet. So you do not have to be accepted into that college or university yet to add them on to your application, okay? And of course, if you have been accepted into that college and university, you want to make sure that you add them onto your application. And as you see here, it's a very simple drop-down technology that they have where you can literally just type in the name of the college. And then they ask you, what are your plans? Do you plan to live on campus or on campus, off campus for that particular college or university? And as you see, you have 1, 2, 3, and add more schools down here at the bottom. So you can add up to 10 schools. If you have more than 10 schools, which I do not recommend, but if you do have more than 10 schools, understand that you're going to have to delete some of the schools before you add on any additional colleges and universities. So you are going to have to delete some of those schools. You can only add up to 10 colleges and universities. Also, they're going to ask you for your dependency status. So what does that mean? We talked about that earlier, right? Dependency status means, am I being financially supported by my parents? If you're being financially supported by your parents, that means that you are a dependent student. If you're not being financially supported by your parents, if you're married, if you file your own taxes dependent of your parents, and literally you do not have any, they don't have any financial investment in your education and in your life, meaning paying bills, paying rent, all of that, then you're considered an independent student. So they're going to ask you a series of questions to vet out whether or not you are a dependent student or an independent student. If you are a dependent student, they're going to also ask your parents for their demographics. So they're going to ask for their birth date, their name, their social security number. All right. And if you would like to know more about how to fill out the dependency portion of the FAFSA, you can definitely go to studentaid.gov, FAFSA, filling out /dependency. All right. They're also going to ask for both your parents and yourself, both of your financial information. Okay. There is a cool tool that they use called the IRS Data Retrieval Tool, DRT. The IRS DRT allows you and your guardian to input IRS information with just a few clicks. So they're going to ask for your tax information for the current year. The great thing about this tool is that it eliminates any mistakes that you could make by manually typing in numbers. Okay, so they are directly attached to the IRS, and the IRS is going to ask you, and as well as your parents, a series of questions to bring up your current tax information, and all of that information is going to populate into your FAFSA application. All right, then the next step is to sign and submit. So you filled out the demographics for both yourself and your parents, right? You uploaded all of your financial information. You put in those colleges, up to 10 colleges that you were interested in, right? They asked you the series of questions, whether you're dependent or independent. And so now you make sure you review the information that you put into your application, and you're going to sign your application with your FSA IDs, both yourself and your parent, and you're going to submit the application. And it's going to say, congratulations, Chris. We currently have your FAFSA on file. This is your confirmation number, okay? This is when we received it. And then they also talk about what's going to happen after you fill out that application. So it usually takes about 7 to 10 business days, and you'll receive a student aid report, which we're going to talk about as well during this presentation. All right. And it'll also tell you that your FAFSA information will be made available to your schools, the schools that you listed on your application. And that if the school needs more information, that they will contact you for that information. All right. And if you have further questions, contact your school for further questions. All right. So you want to make sure you print this page off so that you have confirmation that you filled out your FAFSA application to unlock that free federal student money. Step 3, you want to make sure that you save all of your work. There is a save key that you can create in your FAFSA that help you save your progress, okay? So if you cannot finish completing this application in one sitting, there is a save key that you can create so that as you go about completing the application, you can save your work. It's an ID that requires 4 to 8 characters. And once you save your information, this is very important. The FAFSA application is only going to save your progress for 30 days. So if you decide you want to go back day 31, you're going to have to start all over again. So you just want to make sure that you complete this as accurately as possible and as quickly as possible so that you do not waste time. Okay. And like we talked about before, if you have any changes that happen, let's say that your mom or your dad gets laid off after they fill out the FAFSA application, or there's some circumstance that happens financially, you want to make sure that you contact your college's financial aid office. So all of those colleges that you listed on your application, you're going to contact them to tell them what's going on, because your college and university, they are responsible for creating a student aid report for you based off of the information that you gave to the federal government. All right. So what's next? What do you think about this picture, guys? What do you think she's thinking?
I really appreciate, I'm assuming that the Dallas football team has done something bad, and I appreciate this as a slide in our Philadelphia-based presentation.
You know, I had to put it in there, Chris. You know, I had to put it in there.
That's a great meme. That's a great meme.
This meme is going around like crazy on the internet. When I saw it, I said, I have to put it in the presentation. You know what she's thinking? When I looked at this, I said, she's thinking, I missed my FAFSA deadline. Just some financial prep.
Or maybe I should have been an Eagles fan.
Maybe I should have been an Eagles fan. Yes, but regardless, this is not the energy or the face that we are going to have when we fill out this information, right? When we fill out this application. All right, I'm going to quickly go into what FEEA is, and then see if my co-facilitator is here to...
I am.
Hey, Ron.
Hey.
So we talked about FAFSA, right? FAFSA is federal government money, right? But there is state money that you can unlock from the Pennsylvania Higher Education Assistance Agency, or FEAA, meaning that if you decide that you want to go to a state school for the state of Pennsylvania, that you can unlock even more money. In order for you to complete this application, you will go to FEAA.org. All right. And without further ado, I have my fantastic co-facilitator, Ron Felder from FEAA, that's going to talk to you about how to unlock that money.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Aisha. Appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. Well, good afternoon. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody can hear me. I am in a remote location, and honestly, the power literally just went out. So I am just like, all right, well, I am running my computer off my cell phone, and that's why it looks like it's shady right now. It's kind of weird, but I'm just going to do the best that I possibly can. However, FEAA is the Pennsylvania Higher Education Assistance Agency. We administrate all of the state grant funds for Pennsylvania residents. However, we also administrate funds for students in Pennsylvania who want to leave Pennsylvania. So if you choose to leave Pennsylvania, we will only submit $600 the year, an academic year, to these state schools: Delaware, Massachusetts, Ohio, Vermont, and West Virginia. However, FEAA's awards, the maximum this year is $5,750, so $5,750. That is the maximum amount of awards that we will offer our students in Pennsylvania, for our Pennsylvania residents. The way FEAA administrates our funds is based off a cost of a tier school. So depending on how expensive your school is going to cost, that is the maximum amount of awards that you're going to receive. Now, Aisha did mention something that I definitely want to give her a heads up on. It's really good news. So selective service is officially gone. It is officially gone. And for the 25-26 financial aid year, you will be able to select 20 schools on the FAFSA.
I love that. Yes.
So I come with good gifts today. I always like bringing good gifts. So just to give you, ladies and gentlemen, a good heads up. Now, when it comes to FEAA, our deadline, we have a traditional deadline of May 1st. That is a hard deadline. We really do not give our appeal approvals for people who miss the deadline, because our application opens up October 1st, the same day as the FAFSA. And the good thing about FEAA is, if you've been in Pennsylvania as long as I have been, I remember when I moved here, FEAA used to have to mail in documents. Now everything is done electronically. So you can upload any documents that is needed to make sure your application is done on time. However, if you are a non-traditional student who plans on going to school, for example, community college of Philadelphia for the first 2 years, or Bucks County Community College or Delaware County Community College or Monco, your application deadline for FAFSA is actually May 1st. I'm sorry, it's August 1st. It's August 1st. And I'm so happy, Aisha. I didn't know she gave me privilege to share. And I'm just sitting here talking because I just memorized everything in my head so well. Like I'm just that weird. You guys can call me weird. It's okay. I'm okay. However, here's and this is why Chris is laughing and Aisha's laughing at me like, yeah, Ron, you really did memorize this thing like this. It's kind of weird. Here's what the FAFSA state grant application looks like. So once you come off the FAFSA form and you get to, like Aisha said, you will get to the congratulations screen. There is the little blue link on the far right-hand corner that you have to click on. Please remember to click on this link. It says start your state grant application. A lot of your information from the FAFSA will auto-populate onto your FAFSA application, making it extremely easier and faster to complete the application. Now, the cool thing about the FAFSA applications, you want to make sure you double check your full name, your social security, your date of birth, and your email address. And you can only select one school on the FAFSA application. You as a student are, you as a student, I want to make sure I verbally say this right, are responsible to make sure that the school that you selected on your FAFSA application is correct. If you decide to change the school, you have to go into your FAFSA application and update it. For example, my son is actually at Westchester University right now. He originally committed to Delaware State University. He decommitted about 3 weeks before he was going to go to Del State to come back to Westchester because he felt like it was cheaper and it was a better fit for him. So he had to go back into his FAFSA application and update it from Del State to Westchester to make sure that the FAFSA money goes directly to Westchester. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get any FAFSA money. However, it for compliance purposes, it made sense. Please make sure if you are not selecting the FAFSA state grant application after the FAFSA link, you can go to FAFSA.org and you can click on state grant program, and then you can create your username and password, and it doesn't have to be as intense as the FAFSA. However, you want to make sure it matches your social and date of birth, and you can create a username and password at FAFSA.org, and you can start your state grant application that way as well too. It might take 2 or 3 days for your information to share over from the federal government. However, that's the longer process. Again, our deadline is a hard deadline of May 1st. So right now, I tell everybody, try to get your FAFSA and FAFSA done before Christmas. That'll be a Christmas gift to yourself. For our open enrollment school, August 1st is our deadline. We do require that you're a Pennsylvania resident for at least a year prior to the application date that you're filing. Make sure that you're also a United States citizen. You do for academic progress. That means you have an eligible, a legit high school diploma. And if you are in college and you still want to be approved for FAFSA, you are not on student academic progress. You are making sure that you're making the grades. For dependency status, if you are a dependent and we do ask for additional information, make sure you're filling this information. If you state that you're independent, you will have to provide additional documentation. Aisha will tell you if that documentation might come in. If you say your parents have deceased, please provide the death certificates. If you say that you're if you say that you are a parent and you have a child, how do you financially support your child? These things. Or if you're in the CHAFE program or in the aspects, and I'll go into that. However, these are, if you decide to go, I already mentioned, if you decide to leave the state of Pennsylvania, these are the states that we will submit only $600 a year to. So the rumors are true. You do get more money by staying in state than going out of state. Here's some additional programs that FAFSA does offer, which is additional grant money if you qualify for these programs. And these programs do require an additional application. However, the first 2 applications that you have to have on file is the FAFSA and the FAFSA application. And I'll just touch on a couple of things. For my Pennsylvania foster independence tuition waiver, if you're in foster care, you can qualify for what is called a free tuition program, but your room and board is not covered. So usually a lot of students use their grants or their loans for that aspect. For CHAFE, if you're in DHS services, FAFSA does administrate the funds. However, DHS writes the policies and procedures. for my PA tip in the industrial program. That's for my agricultural, electrical, HVAC, carpentry type schools. That's an additional grant as well. And then my Ready to Succeed is for my students who are sophomore, juniors, and seniors in college, and you have to have a 3.2 GPA. So pretty much that. I don't have the wow pizzazz. I love the meme for the Dallas Cowboy face. That definitely was amazing to me. Even though I'm a Dolphins fan, but my team is doing good this year too. I ain't got no problem with it at all. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm available. You can always go to PHEAA.org and find me there. I will put my email information and my contact information in the chat as well for everybody. Aisha, I'm gonna pass it back to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Ron, for that. And thank you for coming with all these early Christmas gifts about all these different changes. And I'll be sure to add that. So there is a document, a worksheet that Krista is going to email you after this presentation or early next week with changes that are currently happening within FAFSA and FAFSA. And so I will definitely add on that 20 colleges and universities because I did not know about that. That's exciting.
The power did go out in here. Wow.
All right, so let's continue on. Let's see here. All right, so we did our FAFSA, right? We did our FAFSA. And so what happens now is that you're going to receive a student aid report. The student aid report summarizes information that you provided, okay, to the federal government and to the state. So what happens is they are going to provide you, they're going to ask you what your expected family contribution is and determine what your expected family contribution is for you to be able to pay for college based off of the financial information that you provided. All right. This student aid report is going to come directly from your college and or university. All right. So make sure, that's why we said it's important that if you have any financial changes, that you are contacting that financial aid office within that college and university, because they are the ones that actually take the federal information and the state information and give you a student aid report based off of the information that you put into your applications. Okay. So let's talk about how your student aid report is going to look. So the first thing they're going to do is you have your cost of attendance, COA. So your cost of attendance is how much is it going to cost for you to go to that college and university, okay? That includes your tuition, your books, room and board, transportation. How much is it going to cost to go to that college and university? Remember, it's going to vary from college to college, from university to university, because as we know, every single college and university is not the same as far as cost, okay? So we're going to take that cost of attendance to go to that college or university, and then we're going to subtract your expected family contribution, your EFC. So your EFC comes from the information that you put on those applications, the FAFSA and the FAFSA. That's where this comes from, your expected family contribution. How much can your family afford to pay for you to go to school? Okay. They subtract your expected family contribution from the cost of attendance, and then they determine your financial need, how much need-based aid you will get. This is an example of what a student aid report looks like. All right, so as you see here, we have, let's say this is Jennifer. Jennifer is going, just to throw it out there, Temple University, okay? And this is what her student aid report looks like from her completing those 2 financial aid applications, right? So we have our cost of attendance to go to Temple University. You see that they broke it down for you. This is how much the tuition is going to cost, how much the books are going to cost, the health fees. Yes, they're health fees. There are little fees that are associated as well. Room and board, transportation, personal. All together is going to cost Jennifer $17,239 for her to attend that particular college. From the information that she provided on her FAFSA and FEAA, they're saying, okay, her family can afford to pay $3,112 towards her education. All right, so just some simple questions for you to think about as we move along, because I want you to really break down your student aid report the same way. What was the total cost of attendance? And we'll go back. What was the total cost of attendance? Chris, you want to jump in?
Yeah. So for this student, the total cost of attendance is going to be $17,239.
Got it. Thank you.
I already have my calculator out because I know you're going to ask me math next.
And we talked about how your cost of attendance is determined. It's according to that college and university and how much it costs to go to that particular school. So each cost of attendance is going to be different for each student aid report. Remember, you can, at this point, you can put up to 20 colleges within your financial aid award applications, right? So you're going to be getting separate student aid reports for your colleges. So that cost of attendance is going to differ, okay? What is your expected family contribution for this particular example?
So for this student, the EFC is $3,112.
You got it. That's it. All right. And we know that your EFC is determined by you filling out that federal government application, FAFSA, and the state FEAA. All right. So from that information, they said, you know what? That college and university, Temple University, said, we're going to give Jennifer X amount of dollars to attend our university based off of the information that she provided. Okay. So let's think about these important questions. What is your total financial aid? What is your total financial aid? So we have our fall semester, as you can see, they gave us a Pell Grant, direct loan subsidized, which we talked about, meaning that the interest is not occurring on that loan while you're in school. And then unsubsidized, meaning that the interest is occurring on that loan while you're in school. All right. So we have these figures. We have $1,250 for your Pell Grant for this fall and spring semester, $3,000 of a subsidized loan for the year, $3,876 for the year as well. What is the total amount of federal aid you will be receiving from the government?
So in this case,
go ahead.
So in this case, it looks like we're going to get $6,876 total.
This is a little tricky. So we did this on purpose. So
you tricked me?
I did. So the $6,876 is just the direct loans, total direct loans.
Oh, you really did trick me.
Getting a little bit more money. So you have to add in that Pell Grant.
All right, so let's do this. Okay, so we've got 6,876, and then we also have to add in our Pell Grant, which is $1,250. Okay, so the actual answer then is $8,126.
That's it. $8,126 is the total financial aid you will be receiving for the year for Jennifer to go to Temple University. Okay, so looking at this student aid report, what would you accept? What would you decline and why?
This is a good question. Always, always, always take the grant, the Pell Grant, because that's just free money. Don't have to pay it back. In terms of the loans, if, I know I do have to take out loans, then I would prefer to take out subsidized loans because those are the ones that are going to cost me less in the long run. And if I really do need to, I can take out the unsubsidized loan, but that is the order that I would do it. Take the Pell Grant first, then the subsidized loan, and then the unsubsidized loan.
Thank you so much.
See if there's scholarships.
right?
Aisha.
Exactly. And Chris, you hit it on the nail. Like you take that, accept that free money first. Then, of course, the subsidized loans, if you need to have a loan, it would definitely be subsidized because you'll save money in the long run. And then if you really had to, you would take out that unsubsidized loan, accept it. Okay. So let's just say for this particular example that Jennifer accepted everything. She accepted all $8,126. Okay. Let's see here. What additional financial aid does Jennifer still need to go to Temple University? So I put down here, let me try to hide this box so we can see a little bit better. There we are. Okay, so remember your cost of attendance was $17,239. Then we had our expected family contribution of, this is how much they said your family's going to pay out of pocket, $3,112. And then we have she's going to accept all the aid, $8,126. How much aid, if any, will Jennifer need to go to Temple University?
Okay. All right. Here I go with my mathing. Okay. So we're going to deduct take the total. Here we go. I got this. I can do it. 17,239. We're going to take out the 8,126 if we're accepting all the loans. That leaves us with 9,113. So then are we assuming that our family actually can afford this?
Yeah, we're going to assume that they can actually, they did their due diligence and save some money.
Okay. So I think I'm close. I think that means we still have to figure out $6,001.
That's it.
Yep.
So you still have to figure out $6,001 for that year in order for Jennifer to go to Temple University. And one of the reasons why I like to do this particular activity is because we'll talk about it next year, the power of scholarships. So if Jennifer and her family do the work, they can accumulate that $6,000 in scholarship money, if not more, so that she does not have to worry about taking out another loan, a private loan, or trying to figure out where that additional $6,000 is going to come from for that year. So that was the importance of this particular activity. Of course, for you to be able to read and analyze your student aid report and understand where that money is coming from, okay? But also understand the importance of unlocking all money, financial aid money, and that does include scholarships as well, which we'll have a scholarship workshop next year, so definitely stay tuned for that. All right, so these are some quick financial aid tips that we are going to quickly talk about before we conclude our workshop today. You want to make sure that you learn your financial aid terminology and that you get your FSA ID now. If I'm not mistaken, even if you are a junior, you can create your FSA ID and your parents can create their FSA ID as well, as long as your prevalent information is not going to change. So that's something that you can do now to kind of get a head start on your senior year. Of course, if you are a senior, you should already have this done. We are in December. The applications for FAFSA and PHEAA opened up in October. So yes, you should already have this done. Chris will be emailing a financial aid terminology worksheet for you to understand your terminology so that as you're reading your student aid report, you understand exactly what the federal government money that you're getting, as well as the state money that you're getting. Okay, and you understand the difference, like we talked about, between a subsidized and unsubsidized loan, between an independent and a dependent student. All the things you're going to need to know while you're filling out your application, as well as when you read your student aid report. Don't forget important deadlines, like Ron and I talked about. The longer you wait, the less money is available on the table. So you want to make sure that you, as Ron stated, that you fill out both those applications, the FAFSA and the PHEAA, before Christmas. Give yourself a Christmas gift of getting as much money as possible to go to school, okay? And then also realize that you have the power to accept, reject, and compare. Once you get those student aid report letters, you do not have to accept everything. You can reject the unsubsidized loan in that particular example that we talked about, but just understand that you have to already have a plan in place that if you are going to reject any money off the table, that you are filling in those gaps with additional free money, such as chips. Okay, so just make sure that you have a plan and you are working that plan so that you are able to make sure that your student aid report comes out the way that you want it to as well. All right, we talked about these deadlines here, both the FAFSA and the PHEAA, they open up October the 1st, okay? For FAFSA, they have the deadline for you to submit your information in by June the 30th. For PHEAA, it was May the 1st. If you decided if you wanted to go into a 4-year college or junior college, and then August the 1st for technical and trade schools and nursing. All right, so these are powerful student aid information that, like I said, will be emailed to you. After this presentation, you will be receiving a financial aid prep resource sheet, also a financial aid prep terminology sheet, and also a financial aid worksheet on what to expect. There are some changes that are going to happen with FAFSA and PHEAA now and beyond. So we want to make sure that you are as informed as possible. If you did not receive those worksheets, you can definitely email teencenter@freelibrary.org to get a copy of this powerful information. And last but not least, we have another amazing workshop coming up next year. Unbelievable, 2023. We have a ACT prep workshop that will be happening in person at the Free Library of Philadelphia. If you are interested in participating in that workshop, which I hope you are, standardized testing is just as important as financial aid. All right. That will be the 14th, January the 14th from 12 to 2 p.m. You can email teencenter@freelibrary.org to register for that, as well as upcoming college prep workshops. And of course, last but not least, if you want to email me, if you have any additional questions around financial aid, around scholarships, or college prep, my information is here for you. Please utilize it. Please follow me on social media. As Ron said, he provided his information as well. Please utilize us as a resource as you travel along this college prep journey. We are here to support you. So thank you so much for attending this amazing financial aid prep workshop. My name, once again, is Aisha Alexander, and I am here to help you with your education. So thank you so much for today. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much, Aisha. Everybody go on, have a great Saturday. And we'll catch you later.
All right. Thank you, guys.